What's up, everybody? I've had a lot of people asking me how to use the Fibonacci retracement tool, so I'm going to show you exactly what I use it for and how I use it in all of my different levels. So let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you set up the right levels. Now, these levels are going to be dependent on what setups you're trading because they're going to look different for OTE compared to a breaker block. So you want to know exactly what you're looking for on every single setup. Now, for me, the first levels that I have on my Fibonacci are 0 and 1, as you can see up here. And that's what I'm going to first use to find the top and the bottom of each setup. And then I'm going to move down and go 0.5, -1, -1.5, and so on. And that's going to go all the way down until -5 down here. So it's -1 or -0.5 all the way down to 5. And then it's going to go from 5.5 to 6 to 6.5 to 7.5 all the way down to -11.5. Now, I don't necessarily use all of these levels consistently, but they're the levels that I think are best for the different setups you're looking for. So the negative levels, these are going to be your standard deviations. What does that mean? Well, I'll show you in a little bit, but basically standard deviations are going to show us where price might want to go to on a certain setup. For instance, if I'm looking to take a long off of a bullish breaker, I'm going to use these standard deviations levels to see how far this trade wants to go, and I'm going to line it up with my liquidity levels. Now that we've learned the standard deviation, these next levels are going to be some of the most important levels on your Fibonacci retracement tool. And I'm talking about the 0.5, which is going to be our equilibrium, our consequent encroachment. This is how you're going to see the premium versus the discount on every single range you trade or any fair value gap, whatever you want to use this for. The 0.5 level is going to be one of the most important levels on the Fibonacci. The next level we're going to go to is 0.62 and 0.79. These are going to be your OTE levels, optimal trade entry. You're going to use these on pullbacks. When we have a range created, you're going to be looking for these specific levels to take entries off of. And our last two are going to be the 0.25 and 0.75. I don't really use those too often, but if there's something that you have found to be successful, then I would recommend putting them on your Fibonacci retracement tool as well. You've probably seen how a lot of my levels have different colors and how I color code them differently. It doesn't really matter what color you use. That can be dependent on whatever you want, right? It's personal preference. For me, I make my standard deviations 1 through 5 kind of a teal color just so they stand out. And then all my other colors are red except for my OTE levels, 0.62, 0.79. So again, color coding is going to be completely up to you and how you want to structure your Fibonacci retracement tool. And moving down to the bottom, we want to look at all of these things right here, right? So background, you can have a background with the full color if you want to, where it's going to show all the different colors. I don't use that. And then I have it in reverse. I have it as prices. And then for levels, I have it as values. Labels, I like to put it at the left and on the top. And then text, I like to put it in the center, in the middle. Don't really use text too much, but that is what I do. And font size, that's just depending on how you want it. I have it at 12, but this is just all of the basic levels and settings that I have. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into how I actually use the Fibonacci retracement tool. So for our first example of how to use the Fibonacci retracement tool, I'm just going to show you a dealing range on the 15-minute. And what is a dealing range? It's just a swing high to a swing low or a swing low to a swing high. And we're going to be looking for equilibrium, premium discount, and optimal trade entry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Fibonacci tool, just grabbed it. I'm going to go from the swing low right here, all the way down here, up to the swing high right here. Okay, so now I have my levels. If we zoom in super far, you can see this is 0.5, 0.62, 0.79. So we're in a bearish trend. Why do I want to use this tool? Because I want to see how far price is going to retrace into this range, right? So everything above the 0.5 is premium, everything below is discount. If we're in a bearish trend and we are retracing, I want to see us trade into a premium. So the first thing that I look for is, okay, we traded above the 0.5. This is the first level we might start seeing a rejection from. We might start seeing us drop back down to the lows. But the next level is maybe more important, and that's our optimal trade entry level, 0.62 to 0.79, these gold lines. Look how we trade exactly into this optimal trade entry level, and then we start dropping. So that's how I use the Fibonacci retracement tool to find premium discount and optimal trade entry levels. Now we're looking at an example of a bearish breaker block on the 5-minute time frame. So a bearish breaker is a reversal pattern, but we can also use the Fibonacci retracement tool to find how far this trade wants to really move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my retracement tool from this low to this high. And why is that? Because we have a high, a low, a higher high, displacement of the lows. So that's our bearish breaker. And when you use your Fibonacci, you always go from 0 to 1, from bottom to top, from the high to the low, the first high to low. So now that we've done that, if you go to settings, what you're going to want to do is turn on, click check on -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, as far as you want to go. But those are our standard deviation levels that we talked about earlier that we're going to look for price to go to. So as you can see right here, we have all of these standard deviation levels. 1 gets hit, 2 gets hit, and then we retrace back into the breaker block, and then we come back down. And as you can see, we hit 3, we hit 4, we hit 5, so on, right? And you could use that all the way down the line to see how far this move really wants to reverse, but that's how you use the Fibonacci retracement tool when it comes to breaker blocks. Now we're going to use the Fibonacci retracement tool for power of 3, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But you might be asking, how do I use this? What's the purpose? So let me tell you right now. You see this accumulation right here, manipulation up here, and then we get distribution. You want to look for the first swing low after we get this distribution leg, after we displace our accumulation levels right here. So I find that the first swing low is actually down here. As you can see right here, this is actually our first swing low. So I'm going to use the Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high. That's the distribution leg. So I'm going to go from the low down here up to the high, and I'm going to use these levels. Look up here, just the 0, the 1, the 0.5, the 0.62, the 0.79. That's all you need for power of 3. So what am I looking for? It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. We need to retrace back to optimal trade entry level. So we made this swing low from the swing high. Look how price retraces back into the 0.62 to 0.79 zone. That's our golden zone, optimal trade entry level. And that's where it starts falling from. So our first swing low, once we take out the accumulation, we go from low to high. And then once price trades into that optimal trade entry level, that's when we know price is more likely to continue dropping back down. As you can see, it comes all the way back down for the lows down here. So that is how you use the Fibonacci retracement tool when it comes to AMD or power of 3. I hope you gained some knowledge from this video about Fibonacci retracement tools and a few different entry models and how I use them. If you did, please leave a comment below and ask me any more questions you may have, or let me know any other things that you might want to learn about in the future so that I can make more educational videos for you. Please leave a like and subscribe so that I'm able to reach more people with this content, because it truly has helped me. And then go check out any of my other videos about different entry models. I have a video about power of 3. I have a video about breaker blocks. So if you still are confused about what those mean, go ahead and watch those videos because I lay it all out for you.